All right, hello all. This is a very important channeling, so I did it on Facebook. If you're not on my Facebook, I don't know how long I'll be there, but you can find me on pretty much anywhere Amber Celestial Angel. So look for me around. But this was a very important one I need to share with all. So, which I'd been kind of not doing channelings as much, but today it is election day 2020, November 3rd, and this is a very important broadcast. I'm bringing through some messages and channelings from Apostle Paul and Abraham Lincoln. And then I'm going to follow it up with this little thing from my book here. So here we are from Apostle Paul. So I just asked about the election and humanity, like a message for humanity, what you'd like to share right now, because it's important with all the stuff going on. So here's from Apostle Paul. It is in my time of great suffering I found myself clinging to the words of God Almighty in his divine ways. He is a clear guide into what is true and what must be done for all of us, humanity, to reassure itself of love above all. In all the dealings happening now, you must stay true to one truth above all, that it, is no less than anything else around you. Love is the key, and without it, ye are doomed. So I also asked the question about the election, what he had to say about the election. He says, this is a turbulent time in history. As history repeats itself, so too does the destruction that follows. If one can open the heart and mind to that truth I spoke of before, God, love, then one does not ponder the elect or anything else disruptive to humanity's ambiguities. All is divisive and destructive. This is why the word of God, love, which is love, is most important. Fret not of what will be done. Ye are here to serve one another over the land and laws of God, and only God, love. Even the elect will be deceived. Ye mustn't fall short at the games. Time will tell. So then I asked the question regarding Revelation. It is the time of Revelation. And I asked him, what does he think about the mark of the beast, the election? How's this different? And of course, we've got the NWO trying to finally take its reign. He says, the mark refers to those who wish to ponder at the sight of truth instead of facing it. Truth has no boundaries. It carries no lies. The truth is that only God, love, knows. One cannot say who is who or what is what without being in the presence of God, which is love. If ye heart is in love, it does not lead ye astray. If ye heart is in love, it does not ponder the will of God for the sake of all of humanity. Many have been led astray from the very teaching of Christ, which is love. If there is separation between brothers and sisters, this is not love. Unity is part of the divine truth. Not one man or woman or any can deny it. And in Revelation, yes, we are in Revelation, yes, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And chaos must accrue before the peace returns. And there we have it for our Apostle Paul. So, then I asked about Trump in particular. From my understanding, Trump has been fighting this deep state New World Order, and I have received messages about him before, but they've been pretty vague, like he's to leave level ground shaking. He's doing his part. He's on a mission, and he's doing what he's meant to do. Well, this time I asked and said, please send me one of Trump's angels, one of Trump's guides, and tell me what's in his heart. You know, what is really there. And so Abraham Lincoln came through, and I kind of laughed and said, Abraham Lincoln, like, really? But what about like an angel or something? And Abraham Lincoln said, I am one of his guides. And so that's what I asked for, right? A guide or angel. And let me start off with So Abraham Lincoln is one of Trump's guides. He is very directly tied to him on a soul level. And here is his message. It is in dire times such as these that many do not understand the depths of this position. This is one that takes great courage to stand against a mighty giant such as these. They are a sworn enemy of God and all that is good. It is in my guidance I have left a path of hope in despairing moments. He is one of integrity in his words, ringing true to wanting nothing but the best for the people. This is part of his path, his mission. Allow that of the people to rise and stand with him against the troubled souls who have been lost and never wish to return, for now that is. The light at the end of the tunnel is near, here, dear. Darkness is and will be lifted. Many, yes, will be led astray. He was agreeing with Apostle Paul. Will be led astray, but it is in times of despair and darkness one finds hope and returns home to love. We must not forget that troubles are part of this life, this world, but we also must not forget that hope, faith, courage, and purity is what will always get us through these times of doubt and sorrow. Cling tight and hold steadfast in the ways of God, love, and you each will be spared by God's divine will. Only He is the one for the job. Heed my words as one nation, one country, one peoples under God, with liberty, life, happiness, and justice for all. And I don't mean to, I'm about to cry for that one again, because when I received that message, it was just so heartfelt. It's truly from the heart, felt through the heart. And after I received this message, I would consider Abraham Lincoln a saint. He has such a pure heart, such a pure soul and essence to him. And this is one of the guides for Trump. And so when I felt that in my heart and my soul, I knew I sent love over to, I just sent love and hope. Hope is one of the biggest message taken away from both of these messages is hope. Always clinging to the hope and love. Love, of course, above all. And I received a message directly after as well, just for my personal self, but this is to be shared as well. They say, "Thy will be done. Have hope and keep hope." And so I'll add, because they always tell me to add this too, that as humans, as we are, we also have free will. So Trump is on a mission. He has a mission, and yes, he is for the people directly from his guide. And I trust no person to tell me anything or sway my way. I only trust that of the pure, great, holy, pure connection directly from the loving source. And that's where I get my information. I also do research and do things from here. But when I want to come to the true, real conclusion, I call on that. And it's true and real to the depths and core of the very loving essence it all comes from. So he is to be very good and for us, and it has a heart, a pure heart. He truly does. Now there is free will involved, like I was going into. That doesn't mean that things can change. That's why so many things cannot be prophesied exactly in a time frame, because there's so much free will. So things that are said to happen, they will happen. It's just the timing can be off because of free will. Some people will abort their missions, not do what they are here to carry out. Some people will forget, not even remember why they are here. So that's why that's very important to remember why you're here and who you are. And so there is that. I'm going to put that out there. There is the free will that things can change and that he could decide not to go on his mission. And especially when you involve things like what's the word I'm looking for? Things like disruption, like threats, things like that, things that could make somebody change their mind in those kind of ways, that there have been threats or something will happen. And sometimes they may not follow through and fall short. You know, those are very good examples of times that free will, that you move your decision because of something. And it's usually stemmed from fear, because you're afraid of something. Because, I mean, there is, of course, you'd be afraid if you're threatened and things like that happen. So that's the kind of explanation to that. And then I'm just going to now read this because I have this little book and I happened to pick it up on my way in here to make this video, to do this. I happened to pick it up and it has each date on it. So I looked at November 3rd and I had to read it because it has wording exactly the same. It's so much the same, not exactly the same, but so much the same. So it's just synchronistic and perfect divine timing. Okay, idealism. There is no particular way things ought to be. Letting go of idealism is not easy because we may confuse idealistic thinking with positive thinking and with the action of keeping hope alive in our lives. But idealism translates into dissatisfaction rather than hope. It is okay to ask why not, as long as we don't get attached to our own idealistic answers. We could spend all day seeing the world as we think it ought to be, but there is really more value in seeing the way things are and accepting the whole. By accepting the whole, with all its ambiguities and outrageousness, and not judging it or fighting it, we will have the spiritual eyes to see the true well springs of hope. And there we have it. Hope, hope, hope came in every message. Apostle Paul, Abraham Lincoln, my personal message, and in this book, November 3rd. Okay? So hope is very important. Love is very important. Hope. And not having your heart set on something, one thing, you know, because we just don't know. And also that word ambiguities came up, which I had to even look up this definition because I didn't even quite know what it was when Apostle Paul brought it to me. I had to look it up. And here it is again in this book. So those are this is the kind of synchronicities people, you know, should watch out for. These are the things we say. Synchronicity. Watch for the signs. Listen, hear, see. Okay? Here's our reflection. I will accept the whole picture with all its ambiguities and outrageousness, and I will look for humor, not oughts. So blessed be and hope to all you all. If you'd like to have a session, I'm at ambercelestialangel.com. You can see all my services there. Bye, guys.